Hello, welcome to Quantum Online Academy. This is your Dr. Nagaraju Pendam. In this video, we are going to discuss about one more important thing, that is from BSc Electronics, paper 6. Already initially I told you for BSc people, electronics and physics people also, this is the examination scenario maybe in the April and May. So people are going to write the semesters in the even semester and odd semester. In odd semester, semester 1, semester 3, semester 5. In semester 1 and semester 3, in semester 5, the physics and electronics papers we discussed and uploaded in the BSc physics and electronics playlists are there. There you able to see. In even semester, in physics I told you that is the belongs to the semester 2, semester 4 and semester 6. What are the papers are there? Those papers, important questions I discussed in the YouTube channel and uploaded in that. So those things I uploaded. Now in from the electronics only two papers I told. One is semester 2 and semester 4. Not semester 6 I did not tell, but our students are asked, sir please tell the important questions. So based on telling the important questions, we have to make the video and I will keep in that YouTube channel. The large platform will get the benefits, so that is why I decided to make this one. So why I have to take this one for year by year? So per college by college people will change that. So which one they will change? They will change the paper, they will change. Maybe one college people will take based on their teacher capability and based on their availability of the material, based on the strength of the students, they will consider that one, right? Because of our students are taking the course, so this paper I am teaching to you. So please, whoever there this paper is there, that is a 8051 microcontroller and application paper, so those people will get the benefited. So before listening this video, please share and subscribe our YouTube channel. Thank you. Now BSc Electronics paper 6, that is 8085 microcontroller and applications, that exam strategy we are discussing. 8051 microcontroller and applications exam strategy we want to discuss. So what is the 8051 microcontroller and application? This is BSc third year semester 6 paper 6, BSc third year semester 6 paper 6, 8051 microcontroller applications. In 4 units, every paper you have 4 units are there. First you able to see the paper 1, that is the unit number 1 is there. So what is that unit number 1? Microcontroller 8051. This is the unit number 1 of that paper, microcontroller 8051. So once you able to see the syllabus, once you see the syllabus, you able to get the what type of questions you able to get. Off of the 50% you only assume that. So overview and block diagram of 8051, architecture and pin diagram of 8051, data types and directives, memory organization, register banks and stack pointer, PSW register, other special function registers, input output port organization, interrupts and timer control modules. So these are very important one, that is the microcontroller 8051. So overview and block diagram of 8051, architecture and pin diagram of 8051, data types and directives of 8051, memory organizations of 8051, register banks and stack pointer, PSW register, other special function registers, input output organization and interrupts and the timer control modules are there. So after the advanced part of this microprocessor, maybe in your previous semester you learn about the microprocessor. So that microprocessor after subsequent development is a microcontroller. So from the microcontroller, what is there? the block diagram of the microcontroller 8051. This is very important. So, once you able to see overview and block diagram, this block diagram compulsory you able to get it as a long question. Next, architecture and pin diagram of A8051. How many pins are there? How it is architected? So, which pin where it is? So, those things, this is also another long question is there, architecture and pin diagram of 8051. Now, you able to see these next subsequent topics, data types and directives, memory organization, register banks and stack pointer, PSW register and other special function registers, input output port organization and interrupts and timer control and counter modules are there. So, these are all they will combine with the long or otherwise they will ask as a short question. First, you are able to see what are the long and short I gave to you. The short questions, there is a possibility is there. What are the different data types and directives supported by a 8051? What are the different data types and directives? Different data types. What are the different data types and directives supported by? What are the different data types and directives supported by 8051 assembly language, 8051 microcontroller language? That language we call it as a assembly language. So, that is the short question possibilities there. Explain the memory organization of 8051. Explain the memory organization of 8051. This is another important short question. So, what is the function of the stack pointer? Stack pointer of 8051. So, that is also another important question of a 8051 microcontroller. What is the function of the program status of word? So, that is PSW. PSW means program status word is PSW. Now, how many interrupts does 8051 support? How many interrupts? How many interrupts does 8051 supports? How many timers are available in 8051? How many timers? How many timers are available in 8051? That is also very important. So, the 6 short questions I gave because in the part C, so in this data types and directives, memory organization, register bank and stack pointer, PSW register, other special function registers, input output port organization, interrupts and timer and counter modules are there. So, based on this we need to take that one. So, what is that? Once you able to see, these are the questions you may get in your competitive examination for short questions. You able to see your long answer question, draw and explain the block diagram of 8051 microcontroller. Draw and explain the block diagram of 8051 microcontroller. Explain the internal architecture of, once again you have to say internal architecture of 8051 microcontroller, and this is the second question. So, these 2 questions you have to read in unit number 1, that is enough for you, and otherwise you have to read the next one also. Draw and explain the pin diagram of 8051. Draw and explain the pin diagram of 8051. This is also very important. Explain the code memory and data memory in 8051 microcontroller. Explain the concept of register banks and their addresses. So, register banks and their addresses you have to explain. This is also very important. Explain the input output port structure of the 8051 microcontroller. This is also very important. So, these are the major long questions you may get in your competitive examination, that is your main examination, semester examination. Draw and explain the block diagram of 8051 microcontroller. Explain the internal architecture of 8051 microcontroller. Draw and explain the pin diagram of 8051 microcontroller. Explain the code memory and data memory in 8051 microcontroller. Explain the concept of register banks and their addresses in 8051 microcontroller. Explain the input output port structure of the 8051 microcontroller. This is the unit number 1 possibility questions I am giving. If you read these 12 questions, you may get 20 out of 20 in your theory paper. Clear? Now you able to see the second unit. I am coming into the second unit, 8051 microcontroller in applications. So that is unit number 2. What is the syllabus in the unit number 2? Once you able to see, instruction set of 8051 microcontroller. So to work the microcontroller, we have to give the instructions manually, right? Otherwise this microcontroller won't work. So that's why we are giving the instruction sets. What are the instruction sets? Once you have to see the instruction set of 8051 microcontroller. The instruction set of 8051 microcontroller, that is a syllabus. Once you have to take classification, data transfer, arithmetic, logical, single bit, jump, loop and call instructions and their usage, addressing modes, immediate register, direct, indirect, absolute addressing, relative addressing, indexed addressing and assessing memory using various addressing modes. So this is your syllabus. So entire your second unit is belongs to the instruction set of 8051 microcontroller. Under instruction set, so what we are discussing, classifications of data transfer, arithmetic, logical, single bit, jump, loop, call instructions and their uses, addressing modes, immediate register, direct, indirect, absolute addressing modes and relative addressing modes, indexing addressing mode and accessing memory using various addressing modes. So these are very, very important. So instruction sets are there. One is addressing instruction set, another one is a transfer instruction sets are there. So how the questions you may get in your competitive examination from this syllabus? Once you have to see, write a program to add 8-bit numbers stored in the memory. So we need to write the program, write a program to add 8-bit numbers stored in the memory. Maybe so third unit is there to write the programs only. So the second unit also you are able to write the instructions, how instructions we have to give. So based on this add 2 8-bit numbers. Explain the register addressing with examples. Explain the register addressing with example. Write an example using each addressing mode to access the memory. Each addressing mode to access the memory. How do logical instructions affect the status flags? Explain indexed addressing with an example. Indexed addressing with an example. All are short questions. Each and every term you may take it as a short question. Sometimes it is not covered. These 5 you have to learn, that is enough for you. So what are the different data transfer instructions in the 8051 microcontroller? So all the data transfer instructions you have to write here. So explain any 4 arithmetic instructions in 8051 with example. We need to write the arithmetic instructions in 8051 example. Explain different addressing modes with an example. We need to calculate the addressing modes. Explain different addressing modes with an example. What are a single bit instructions in the 8051 and provide the example. Single bit instructions you have to use the 8051 microcontroller. Explain about the jump call, loop call and call instructions. So those also you able to get the long question. These are the 5 long questions and 5 short questions I am giving. Once again you see the long answer questions in the unit number 2. What are the different data transfer instructions in the 8051 microcontroller? Explain any 4 arithmetic instructions in 8051 with examples. Explain different addressing modes with an examples. What are the single bit instructions in the 8051? Provide the example. Explain about the jump, loop and call instructions. So these questions you may get in your unit number 2. Now, unit number 3 you able to see. What is your unit number 3? Your unit number 3 is unit number 3 you have to take under the 8051 microcontroller and applications you have to see. That is the unit number 3 is programming examples of microcontroller. Programming examples of microcontroller of 8051. In the first unit we are learning about the block diagram of the microcontroller. In the second unit we are learning about the instruction set of the microcontroller. In the third unit we are applying, we have to write the programs through microcontroller. How we have to write the programming examples of the microcontroller? Here two parts are there. If you read this part, you leave this part. If you read this part, you leave this part, no problem. One long question come from this part, one long question come from this part. So, any long question you have to read, and any part entirely you have to read, other part you leave and only go for the short answers. So, programming examples of the microcontroller 8051. So, what are the programming? Addition, subtraction, division, picking the smallest and largest number among the given set of numbers, arranging a given set of numbers in ascending and descending order, subroutines, input output programming, bit manipulation, accessing a specified port terminal and generating the waveforms. These are the programming examples of the microcontroller 8051. Next, the second part is timer and counter programming. Timer, in how much time and how many counts it should take, programming 8051. Programming 8051 timers. So, basic registers of the timers, timer 0, timer 1 registers. So, TMOD register, TCON register, timer modes, mode 1, mode 2 programming, counter mode programming, programming to the generate time delay. So, these are the timer and counter programming in 8051. So, these two parts are there, any one part you have to write. So, you read thoroughly, you able to write the exam nicely in your theory examination. Now, you able to see from the third unit, what are the important questions you have to see. Write a program to find the smallest number from a given array of 8-bit numbers. Write a program for the smallest number. Maybe you have to take the largest number among the given numbers of the array of 8-bit numbers you are able to take. So, that is the thing. What is the subroutine? How is it implemented in 8051? How can you toggle a pin of port 0 continuously? Explain how to use timers to generate a waveform, specific frequency and duty cycle. What are the roles of TMOD, TCON resistors? These are very important questions. Maybe they will ask as a short questions. Write a program to find the smallest number from a given array of 8-bit numbers. What is a subroutine? How is it implemented in 8051? How can you toggle a pin of port 0 continuously? Explain how to use timers to generate a waveform of a specific frequency and duty cycle. What are the roles of TMOD and TCON resistors? These may short questions you get in your competitive examination. Now, you able to see the long answer. Write a program to multiply two numbers and store the result in the internal memory. Write the program to multiply. So, to multiply two numbers and store the result in internal memory. You need to write the addition, subtraction and multiplication and division. So, all these things are you learn in this. So, what is a subroutine and how is it implemented in the same question I gave. So, because that is important is there. Explain the function of timer 0 and timer 1 in 8051 microcontroller. What is the difference between the timer and counter mode? What is the difference between the timer and counter mode of 8051 microcontroller? Explain with the examples. Write a program to count external events on T0 pin using TR0 in the counter mode. So, these so from two questions you have to learn from the first part and two questions you have to learn from the second part. This is the third unit. Now, you able to see the fourth unit under the microcontroller and application. This is the application unit. Fourth unit is application unit. What is that unit? Communications. So, serial communication types and modes and protocols, data transfer rates and serial communication program, SBUF and SCON registers, RS-232 standards, programming timer interrupts. These are the serial communication. Here also two parts are there. If you read this part, you able to read this part for the short. If you read this part for long, you able to read this part for the short. That like that you have to read if it is two parts. Applications of the microcontroller. So, displaying information on LCD, interfacing a keyboard, interfacing a temperature sensor, and R2R ladder interfacing of DAC. So, 0808 to microcontroller, successive approximation ADC. So, dual slope ADC, analog to digital controller, that is interfacing of ADC 0804 to microcontroller, 7 segment LED. So, all these things are applications of what? Applications of a microcontroller. So, here two varieties of the things are there in the unit number 4. One is the communication, another one is the applications of the microcontroller. Now, you able to see how the questions will get in our competitive examination. What are the modes of serial communication in 8051 microcontroller? What are the modes of serial communication in 8051 microcontroller? Describe each mode. Explain the structure and role of the SCON resistor. Explain the structure and role of the SCON resistor. What are the steps to configure serial interrupts in 8051 microcontroller? Explain the concept of keyboard matrix interfacing with 8051 microcontroller. How is a temperature sensor, that is LM335, interfaced with the 8051 microcontroller? So, these are the you may get in short questions. In the long question, you have to see what is a serial communication and how is it different from the parallel communication. The serial communication and parallel communication, how it is different, you ask. So, what is the function of SBUF resistor in serial communication? How is a 16 cross 2 LCD interfaced with the 8051 microcontroller? Explain how an R2R ladder DAC works, how it is connected to 8051 microcontroller. How does a 7 segment LED displays the work? A 7 segment LED displays the work. So, these are the questions you may get in your competitive examination from the 4th unit. Once again, you have to see the 4th unit long question. What is the serial communication? How is it different from the parallel communication? What is the function of SBUF resistor in serial communication? How is a 16 cross 2 LCD interfaced with the 8051? Explain how an R2R ladder DAC works, how it is connected to 8051 microcontroller. How does a 7 segment LED displays works? So, this is very important. These questions you have to read from 1st, 2nd, 3rd and 4th units onwards. So, once you take the reference books, so whatever the book you want to take, 8051 microcontroller, this book is very important. What is this book? Ali Mazid, Ali's Madiz and Glimpsey Mazid, Pearson Education Asia. This is the 4th print 202. Textbooks of Electronics BSc 3rd year volume 3, Telugu Academy also available. The fundamentals of microprocessor and microcontroller. So, B-ROM, this book also maybe you are reading B-ROM, I know it. So, 8051 microcontroller architecture programming and application, Kenneth J. Ayala. So, Penram International Publications 1995. So, microcontrollers theory and application, Ajay V. Deshmukh. So, microcontroller 8051, the Karunasagar Narosa publication 2011. So, whatever the book you have, those book you follow, all books are equal. So, maybe your teacher is following the fundamentals of microprocessor and control, BRAM, otherwise your teacher is following 1 and 3, maybe these 2 books are very, very important. So, thank you so much. So, please share and subscribe our YouTube channel, and so make them efficient, inform to your friends also. Be success in your competitive examination. All the best. Thank you.